Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here with me today. I do realize that this is short notice. However, there is a situation coming out of Alabama that needs our immediate attention. It definitely shows that we, as women, as Black women, are not safe, especially with the details surrounding this story. I'm going to give people a few more minutes to come in, and then I'm going to start. For those of you who have just joined, I'm going to give people a few more minutes to join and then I'm going to begin. Like I said before, right now there's a situation coming out of Alabama involving a young Black woman who was abducted while trying to assist an abandoned, parentheses over abandoned, a young baby who was left alone on the highway. And sadly, it was a trap because she was abducted. So I'm going to start in 1 minute. Thank you for being here today. And I'll be sure to, try to get to the main points. That way, if you're in that area, you can share this story because we do need to be there for one another when things like this happen. So I'm going to give everyone 1 more minute and then I'm going to begin. And thank you for being here today. All right. So this situation involves a young woman by the name of Carlee Russell. She's a 25-year-old woman that is living in Hoover, Alabama. Yesterday, and I'm just going to present this screen and then I'm going to read to you what a friend of the family wrote on their Facebook page. But before I do, here is a photo of the young woman. Looks like she had graduated recently from college, and I know that that college that she was attending, or maybe her current college is that she's studying to be a nursing student. But here's what someone by the name of Aris La Shone Robinson wrote. She wrote, calling on all AKAs, the Divine Nine family, Facebook family, and friends. Our beloved AKA sister, Miss Carlee Russell, was abducted on 7/13/23 off of Interstate 459 South, mile marker 11, exit 10, around the vicinity of Hoover High School area around 9:30 p.m. to 10 p.m. in Hoover, Alabama. Her description of Carlee is 5'5" and one in between, and she weighs between 150 to 160 pounds. Her red Mercedes was left on the side of the interstate with all of her belongings, purse, cell phone, and other items. She stopped because she saw a baby or a child on the side of the interstate. She called 911 and family members to let them know. The last person she was on the phone with heard screams. Please, 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 if you have any information about her whereabouts, please contact her family and law enforcement. The Hoover Police Department, please pray for her, her family, and the AKA family. Let's do what we do, AKAs. We help each other. We need to find our beloved AKA sister. And so here is the contact information for her mother, Talia Russell, which is 1-205-401-3365, or her father, 205 Carlos 396-6160. So as we know now, we have a description of how she looks, and these are her photos. A beautiful young woman, beautiful chocolate baby, recently just graduated from school, studying to become a nurse, possibly a doctor. And a little bit more about the situation. I'm gonna scroll down and I'm gonna let you hear it from her parents.
Exit 10 that appeared to be daughter-in-law about 9:36. She told her she saw a child on 459 right before exit 10 that appeared to be 3 to 4 years old by themselves. She's pulled over. She called 911, but in the process, at some point, she got out the car. My daughter-in-law could hear her asking the child if they were okay. The child didn't respond, or at least she didn't hear her respond. He or she respond. And then she heard our daughter Carlee scream. And from there, all we could hear was noise, background noise in her phone, which we later found out was noise from the interstate. And so they have found her wig and her hat and her cell phone that were in close proximity to her car. So if anyone sees Carlee from the pictures that we have put out, just keep in mind, because her wig came off, her hair will be braided down to her scalp. So she won't have, long hair or anything like that is reflected on the picture. She pretty much has cheekbones like me. Pretty much our face is the same structure. So that's pretty much all the information we have. We do have some indication that there may have been a gray vehicle that a trucker saw that pulled in front of her car at some point as they were passing along the interstate. And that's all the information or leads we have at this time. So I just ask everyone, if you would pray. We are trusting God. We are staying positive. We are not allowing any negative thoughts to enter our minds. So all that we're doing is trusting God, believing God that our daughter will be brought home safely.
Yes, ma'am. And you have a lot of support here,
Yes,
family and friends as well.
For everyone that is supporting us and has been supporting us since they heard of her missing last night. So we're just eternally grateful. And again,
we have more support coming. We want to continue to apply pressure to this thing. We don't want this to die down. We need this to blow up. So if anyone sees anything, no matter how minute, no matter how insignificant you think it is, please contact 911, contact us, and just keep us in your prayers.
Absolutely.
And we actually these people are here to help start a search party. Anaya Blanchard's mom is also on her way over here to help lead us in the search of. She has experience in it, and she's going to give us some pointers as well. But we just ask everyone to please, 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 wherever you are, if you're not in Birmingham, whatever, they could be in Georgia, we don't know, Mississippi, Tennessee, anywhere, just please keep your eyes out and be vigilant.
Absolutely. Mr. and Mrs. Russell, just thank you so much for your time. And we're definitely all praying for you all as well to help bring Carlee home.
Thank you.
Thank you. Reporting from the Hoover Met, Jonathan Skinner, WBRC Fox.
This story is extremely crazy considering the details surrounding it. So just to be clear, this young lady was on her way home at 9:30 at night. She did what a good Samaritan would do, as well as having motherly instincts to say, "Oh my God, what is a child doing out here at night alone on the highway?" So she called the police. And I'm assuming before she exited the vehicle, that conversation ended. And then she got on the phone with a family member to say, "Oh my God, there's a child out here by themselves." So she gets out of the car to go comfort that child. Unbeknownst to her, she's being watched. Unbeknownst to her, this child is being used as a trap. This is something that you thought that you would only hear in a movie or a little 60-minute true crime series. No, this is happening in real life. This could have been any one of us. Because I know if I saw a child on the interstate, on the highway, I would get out the car. How many of you would do the same? How many of you, after knowing this story, would still get out the car and do the same? Just in case it wasn't a trap. Just in case it was a child that somehow got lost on the highway, or maybe their parents, they sent that child, the parents were in trouble and they sent that child to go get help. Because even after learning about this story, I don't think that it would sway me to not still go outside to investigate. And so what makes this story even more heartbreaking is that these people will play upon your humanity, and for women, your motherly instinct, because most of us will want to go comfort and protect that child. And now this young lady has been abducted. This happened over 12 hours ago on a highway. What's the likelihood that they are still in Alabama? What's the likelihood that she's even still alive, considering all the press that this is getting. Because this story has been shared on site. I think it's on site on Instagram. I think it's also been shared possibly on the Shade Room. I'm not sure. But on Facebook, it's definitely been making its rounds. So now she's considered, you know, she's considered too risky to continue on with this. They now have somewhat of a description of the vehicle, which is that is gray. And they now know that, this is not somebody that people are going to walk away from. No, this is somebody who was loved by both parents. This is someone who was loved by her community. So now, what do we do with this person? Because I would almost Mississippi, you don't know. And the more time that goes past without these people being apprehended, what is the likelihood of her survival rate? I literally have a video that's pending review that talks about abductions, that talks about human trafficking, that talks about SA. And this is very prevalent in our community. It's very serious, and it's not getting a lot of attention because this industry makes billions upon billions of dollars. If I'm not mistaken, I believe it's a $39 billion industry. So there are people within our community that look like us, Black men and sometimes Black women, who are active participants in preying upon our community. And this young lady was abducted while trying to help a child. They used a child to lure and kidnap this woman. This is so mind-blowing to me that when I saw it, I said, oh my God, I got to do a story on this and bring this to the people so that they know to be on the lookout, not just for Carlee Russell, which is what we all need to be doing and making sure that we blow this story up. We also need to be on the lookout for people who prey upon good Samaritans with the intent to abduct and harm us. That is what happened to Carlee Russell. And now her friends and family don't know where she is. And now what is to become of this, not just Carlee, but who is the child? Did they kidnap and abduct another child and then use that child to abduct somebody else? My God, America is literally going into a sinkhole. It's getting worse and worse as civilians, pedestrians, to be in a lawless society. Carlee Russell should not have been abducted. That baby should not have been on the side of the road. We need more of these criminals in jail, and they need life sentences because you can't keep up with these people. They prey upon the community. And from what I've seen since this pandemic has begun, is that there are criminals who just enjoy being criminals. They have no desire to be a law-abiding citizen. They love the resources and the funds that come along with it, and they have no regard for your life or my life. And it's unfortunate that it took all of this to happen within the pandemic for us to see that instead of saying defund the police, we need to restructure it so it's inclusive to everyone. And what that means is having law enforcement that comes out and police and do their job as described while also getting rid of the bad guys. There is one more story that was featured on this, and it was on the news, and they go into detail about more of the description of the individual. And I'm going to share that with y'all.
He's the godsend. Bubbly personality, loving heart,
Giving.
giving, just joyful in nature.
She's a fighter too. She's joyful and she's laid back, but if it's a chance for her to put up a fight to try to save her life, she's gonna do everything she can to put up a fight. And I was telling my husband and I were talking today. She was just so happy, or yesterday, she was just so happy all the way up until I talked to her at 9:19. She was just so happy. And anybody that knows our daughter knows she loves food. And the fact that she was willing to give me her meal because they left her meal off meant a lot to me. And when she got home, I was gonna give her a big hug and tell her thank you because I know you love your food.
There are several TikToks that people have posted that shows exactly the aftermath, and a couple of them show the attempts. And I wanted to show that to you guys before I ended this video so that we could all be on the same page as far as this happens. It's much more common than you think, and that there are preventative steps that we can all take when it comes to observing our surroundings, protecting ourselves as well as our kids, and staying mindful that we live in an unsafe society, and that the results of shouting defund the police, the results of of telling law enforcement to be less active in the community has had a dire effect, impact on our communities. And there is no way around that. I'm going to show you this video and I want you to look at exactly what happens.
Can you imagine almost being kidnapped and not even knowing? And then you just happen to look at your ring footage and you see this? This is why you should always be aware of your surroundings.
This is so scary. Watch the guy in the red hat.
Can you?
Did you see how close he was to abducting not just that woman? Well, we say it, well, not abducting, but to doing whatever he was going to do in that moment. That woman literally came into the house with her child. He preyed upon a woman who was with her child. They do not care about the vulnerable, how vulnerable you are. In fact, that's why they seek out certain people over others. Women being one, children being number one, women being next. And if they can get you a young child that's a girl, even better. They prey upon the most vulnerable for exactly that reason, because they know that it's only so much you can do back because you are a woman, right? You have a lot of talk going around about right now about what's a biological woman. And it's funny, we always come back to what a biological woman is when we have to talk about how you're unprotected and why you're preyed upon. That man, who knows what he was going to do, but he obviously had been watching her and had at some point decided that he was going to make a move on her, and she shut and locked that door just in time, assuming that that was real, which is what I'm doing. Who knows what would have happened, right? I would be so terrified if I went and saw that video to know that I was, what, 4 seconds, 4 or 5 seconds away from having had something that could have changed my life drastically. These people do not care about who they prey upon. And it's very sad and sadistic. These people are crazy. they're a lunatic, and they do not care. Having people like that within the society, as you go amongst your life, go amongst your daily activities, is so it's it, it's so crazy, and it can be very impactful in a negative, dire way. You have to be mindful of your surroundings. And this TikTok video that I showed you is on the page of awareness right now. And I want you guys, when you in your free time, if you can go over to that page, I want you to look at it, because I want you to stay mindful of what's being posted, giving giving the abductions that are currently happening. And I want to show you guys one more. This guy details the states that have the highest abductions. And where is the video? Because I'm not seeing it. Let's see. Watch till the end. Let's see. Where are you? Abductions, abductions, abductions. There's a movie out right now called the Sounds of Freedom. And it's getting a lot of rave reviews, and more people want to see it. However, they've limited access to that movie, and people are in according to Fox News and the conservative outlets, the other side doesn't want you to see that movie, because if you see that movie, you'll come to realize that there is just a lot going on in society that people don't want you to see. But I'm going to show you guys this this TikTok, and then I'm going to put out more information about Carlee, and then answer any of your questions if you have some.
Human trafficking. At number 10 is Texas. At number 9 is Michigan. At number 8 is Missouri. At number 7 is California. At number 6 is Delaware. At number 5 is Ohio. At number 4 is Georgia. At number 3 is Florida. At number 2 is Mississippi. And at number 1, the state with the most human trafficking, Nevada. Here are the top 10 states with the most human trafficking.
And I believe that. I believe that, given the fact that most of my stories on Black femicide come from a lot of those states. Georgia, Ohio literally just did a video in which 30 people, 30 teenagers have gone missing within a 2-week period, and nobody can find them. I'm going to say that one more time, and then look up the video to see if I can find it for you guys. Ohio just had a news story that went viral about 30 youths who have gone missing, and people cannot find them. That story was covered on the Breakfast Club. It was covered on Ohio news stations, as well as a few others. And people don't have, sadly, people, okay, I found it. I'm going to show y'all. Sadly, people don't have even photos. This is so sad. Some parents don't even have up-to-date photos of their kids. Look at this. More than 30 kids reporting missing in Cleveland in May. Look at how many kids don't even have a photo. What's going on, y'all? Do you see how crazy that looks? And you also see something else, right? Most of those kids are black or brown, missing. Tell me one more time that in Ohio was what 5 or 6 on that list, and we just had 30 kids go missing in Ohio, and they still can't find them. Not only can they not find them, they don't even have a photo. So when we don't even see a photo, what's going on at home to where we're not taking photos of our kids? You know, that's another discussion. But if that many kids went missing in May alone in Ohio, then what does that say about the other states in America, especially the ones that was on that TikTokers list? Like I said before, It's not just about human trafficking for SA reasons. It's also about organ trafficking. And these are issues that we don't talk about a lot in our community because we like to center only the issues that impact Black men. But we need to start centering the issues that impact Black women and Black children. And human trafficking, as well as human or organ harvesting, are two of the issues we need to talk about. Because when predators are looking for these types of victims, they're going to go to the areas of where the people are most vulnerable. And that's where you're going to find people coming into the hood or the urban areas, and they're looking for people who will not be missed. They're looking for the most vulnerable. And that's exactly what happened to Carlee Russell last night. They used a vulnerable person, which is a child, to get access to get this woman out of her car. And it worked. And the question is, what are we going to do about it as a community? We're going to share this information, obviously. We're going to make sure that we post. I know I'm going to post about this on my community tab. I know that I'm going to continue to ask my subscribers, hey, if you're in that area or down south, can you make sure that you're posting this on your social media pages to make sure that we do everything that we can and make sure that we get as much coverage for this young woman as we possibly can, because we don't want this young woman to be lost, and then one day we find out that unfortunately she was unalived. We want to do everything that we can while it's still within 24 hours. And this goes back to what the first 48 states. The first 48 hours are the most important, right? Within the first 48 hours, you can still find the person alive. Within the first 48 hours, you can still find a lot of clues. That's not to say that you can't after the first 48, but it begins to be least likely, right? This is how this young lady looks. Look at her. She's a melanated, chocolatey, beautiful Black woman. She had a braid in her hair at the time of her abduction. She's 5'5". She's 25 years old. And like they said, she weighs between 150 to 160 pounds. Now, at the time that this happened, it happened at 9:30 on July 13th. Maybe some of her outward appearance has changed, considering that it was stated that there was a struggle, and maybe something, or maybe she's still left intact. But if I have to assume, I would assume that maybe they've done something to alter her appearance, if not just driven out of the state, so that they would be less likely to be recognized. However, I want to tell you guys one more time, if you are in the area, please make sure that you are you're on the lookout for this young woman. She was abducted on Highway 459 in Hoover, Alabama. Her name is Carlee Russell, and this should be said that she is in danger, right? An abduction. She was taken against her will. She is in danger. If you are in that area or you know people in that area, please share her photos. Please share this video. You can go put in her information, her name on Facebook like I did, and then you can look up her information. You can also contact the Alabama police. This situation is scary because that could have been any one of us. And they used a child. So there are other potential victims with her. And it's getting really dire out here, guys. I'm going to look at some of you guys' comments. And then I know that this was short notice, so I'm going to thank you for your time and then let you go. Investigate with a weapon and a space to react. Remember, a child in distress will be visibly upset. Put cameras in the dash window and rear window. Stay near your car. Keep it running or record or run a weapon. And okay, oh my God, I am in healthcare, and that what I would do. Yeah, I would not have gotten out the car for the very reason that what happened to her. I would have called the police, watched the child from a safe distance, and let them investigate. The cities need to put CCTV all over the city. People look out for her. Call the police, write down the license plate of vans and cars. That's right. They say that they believe she was taken in a gray van or a gray car. Praying for Carlee's safe return. So am I, Aquarius Star. They could find them if they wanted to. They're not on their list of priorities. That's a good statement, because there are cameras on the highways, because that's partly how they are able to get those people who go on those high speed chases, right? They use those cameras, and then they'll get people in the helicopters to film you. So they have more. They have to have more information that they're not releasing to the public, which could either be a good thing or a bad thing. I think that was a setup. Yeah, it was a setup, DJoy. The cartel, our government are doing this. Some people, many voted in power against Trump. Yep. I would have done the exact same thing that she did. This breaks my heart. I am praying so hard for her. That was a setup. How many rational people have a baby sitting in the middle of the interstate? I wouldn't have gotten out of my car. Yeah, on one hand, I would say that, but then there have been situations where I've seen where the parents or the caregiver is injured and they send the child to ask for help. Or maybe that only happens in the movies, but that's would be have been one of the reasons why I would have gone out to. And then you don't want the child to get hit by a car. Like I said, they played on her humanity and her motherly instincts, because we say that, well, I say that, not being, in her position last night, but for the most part, I think I would have gotten out the car to try to assist. And sadly, this young lady, she's been abducted. I just don't want it to be a situation of come a few days from now, we're talking about how she was unalived. If there is anything that can be done to save her, and it sounds like the other victims' lives, I hope that as a community, we can bring as much awareness to this situation as we possibly can, and then put these people in jail for the rest of their lives. It should, I have to say this, with with allowing so many immigrants to come into this country unchecked, and then our own criminals that are within this country, it's creating a horrible impact on our economy, right? We cannot have people migrating to this country unchecked for what they've done in their own country while also dealing with our criminals. That's too much on our economy. And sadly, this is just where our community lacks in having that wherewithal, because we continue to vote Democrat. But I don't want to get caught up in a tangent on that. Once again, this is Carlee Russell. She was abducted in Hoover, Alabama on 7/13/2023. She is 5'5". Her weight is between 150 and 160. Beautiful, melanated brown sister. If you have seen her, if you live in that area, please make sure that you share her information. And if you've seen her live in that area, please make sure you reach out to the Hoover, Alabama police. Her life, as well as others, depend upon us working together as a community to get her safely returned to her family. I came here for Carlee, and y'all talking about migrating by. Okay. A baby in the street, I would have jumped out the car after this story. I won't. Yeah. I guess I just don't trust people being from Chicago and all. Hope she makes it back to her family. Yeah, I'm from Chicago too. And I don't trust people. It's just that the baby being on the side of the road, and it being a highway, it plays on your humanity and your motherly instincts. That's why I want everybody involved with this to be brought to justice, and may the swiftest of justice is bestowed upon them. because it's a lot. A child on the highway alone, and this is what you do to get to abduct somebody. It's not about voting Democrat, it's about taking control of our communities. Yeah, you're right. Absolutely. And we don't have control of them. We absolutely don't have control of them. And we need to have control of them because we have a lot. Women and children are vulnerable, as well as our resources are constantly being extracted out of them. The impact has been great, but once again, Carlee Russell, Hoover, Alabama, please share this information. I want to thank you guys for joining me at such short notice. Once again, Carlee Russell, abducted in Hoover, Alabama. If you've seen her, reach out to the Hoover. Thank you for watching.